Hi, my name is Michael Williams, and in this short video I'm going to be showing you what's new in Poco 5.1. The first thing you'll notice when you launch Poco 5.1 is that the registration number is no longer required for the program. So when you first launch it, you'll get your usual welcome screen, but down here you won't see any place for you to put in your email address or your registration number. We've done away with that system, so it no longer exists. The second thing you notice when you go to the People tab is that when you first launch Poco, you'll actually find that it's populated with a whole number of records here representing positions for each one of the possible positions on a feature film. This has been done in order to make it easier for you to set up data when you're first getting started. For instance, you may not know when you first start your show who your still photographer would be, but you would need that position to exist in a crew list. So what we've done is actually created blanks for all of the different positions, as well as already assigning different distribution for each one of those people. So normally a director would be receiving call sheets and crew lists and all the things that are noted here, and each person, as you see as we go through the records here, receives a different set of distribution. And of course you can make any changes to that as you see fit, and of course add records to this and delete the ones that you don't need. We just thought it was an easier way to get started, to actually have some basic data lined up for you. The biggest new feature in Poco 5.1 is probably its ability to track revisions. So you'll notice here that there is a little red triangle on the corner of this record, and that's because this is a brand new record, so of course it's showing that it's been changed. So let me show you how this can be used to actually track if records are revised or not revised in Poco 5.1. The way that you do this is to go to the Publish tab, and we're going to update the crew list log by clicking on this button, and this will create a log for the prelim version of the crew list, because we're currently set to prelim over here. So we click on log, creates a log for the prelim. Let's go back here to the People tab, and then as soon as I update prelim to white, you'll notice that the red triangle is gone from the top right corner of the record right there, and that'll be true of all the rest of the records as well. Now if I actually make a change to this record, let's say change his name, the red triangle comes back and shows him as revised, and will remain that way until I do the exact same thing and go from white to blue by publishing and then changing the revision color. And the way this can be useful in your documents is to go here to the crew list, and we can actually see an asterisk here for the director, and I can turn revision mode on and off as far as whether or not this asterisk is visible by clicking on this little revisions button. It'll toggle on and off whether or not you can see those little asterisks. So any record that has a little red triangle on it right here will, on the crew list, cast list, studio list, or also in the vendors list in the vendors tab, have the ability to actually show a revision mark, which can be helpful in tracking what's been revised as you move from document to document. The other thing, of course, that you'll notice are that these buttons exist up here. We just use the revision button to toggle on and off revisions, but also now there is a sort button up here that will sort the crew list, in this case, because we're on the crew list page, into crew list order. If we were on studio list or cast list, that sort button would, of course, sort into either studio or cast people. You can set whether or not this is the default layout that this button goes to. So, for instance, again, this is the crew list. This is just the standard crew list, and we've selected this as the default layout, and you can tell it's set as the default because it's light blue as opposed to dark blue. If I wanted to set a different type of crew list as the default crew list that this button points to, I could go to a different crew list. Let's say I go to the one with the logo on it, and then if I want to set this as the default layout, just click default layout, and then whenever I click on crew list, it will take me to this default layout, which is a handier way to get there, I think. Also, the up and down buttons have been revised. They're now over here towards the left, and they've been have an updated look to match the rest of these buttons. And of course, you can use this to move your records up and down. It's much easier to see this on the short list. Let's say I want the this producer to be the first record. I just click the up arrows here. I can move that record up and down in the list. Other updates include an updated I-9 form, as well as an updated W-4 form. So there have been two changes to the Flights tab. The first one is that when you click on the Void button to void the record, that the change fee is still reflected in the grand total as opposed to making it 0, which is what it did before. The second change is that on the travel authorizations, the hotel rate is now included on the TA, on the travel authorization. So the bottom now reflects the air-ground total for all of the air and ground related rates, the hotel total separately, and then adds them up into a grand total at the very bottom. And one change each has been made to the hotels and the cars tab, in that the taxes and fees for the room rate or the car rental rate are now broken out into separate fields. So for your hotels, if you have a room rate of $85, you add the tax fee rate on top of that, and it gets added into the larger grand total. A number of users had asked for this because of the way that these rates are calculated. And lastly, here on the Setup tab, under the Unions sub-tab, you'll see that the SAG-AFTRA and the DGA logos are more easily changeable by putting them here at the top of their respective sections. Previously, if you wanted to change those logos, you had to actually go into a document and drop the image there. Now they're in a more obvious place. And those are the biggest changes in Poco 5.1. If you have any questions, please hit us up on Facebook, and we'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And of course, we really hope that you enjoy this new software. Thanks very much.